Offseason grade for your Baltimore Ravens.
Well, you're right. I mean, look, I would have rather had Nick, I said Max Crosby. Like, I would have preferred that trade just go through. But I thought Hendrickson and keeping the draft picks was a great consolation. So obviously last year they were bottom of the league, I think bottom 3 or 4 in sacks. So Trey Hendrickson definitely addresses that. All right. John Simpson, they added to the O-line. I think they got some more moves coming with the O-line. But I hate the losses, like especially Linderbaum. We mentioned Likely before Linderbaum. I hate losing Linderbaum. The center is very important, his relationship he had with Lamar. And Likely, I like Likely better than Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Andrews
is good, but Likely, I think, is getting better and will probably be better over the next several years than Andrews. But I am weighing into this grade because this is all off season.
Yeah.
The coaching change. Because I think they already had talent. If they say they're even, like they're about the same level they were last year, their talent wasn't an issue. It was, and I'm not putting it all on Harbaugh, but we saw them not perform in big games in the postseason. We saw them be heavily penalized. We saw them make mental errors a lot. So I think Jesse Minter, I just think they needed a new voice. I think he can address that. I like the new OC was under Ben Johnson. It'll be interesting. I'm sure he's looking at Lamar like, man, I can do all sorts of things with him. Yep. So we'll see. So I am giving them, I hate the losses, but I'm giving them a B.
Solid.
Giving them a solid B.
I thought that was good.
I think that's a little home cooking for Brew's favorite team. That's what I think.
I don't think
I'm not questioning your integrity as a grader or as a person.
I put the coaching in there a lot, so you got to think about that. The coaching change.
All right, we also have to, if we're going to think about coaching, we also have to think about front office. I would say this offseason has made it far more difficult for this front office to ever execute a major trade.
Really?
Well, they're claiming that's not an issue. But
if they got a player that you want.
No, the other way around.
I'm saying if the Ravens have a player or picks that you want, I'm going to deal with them.
Yeah, well, I mean,
there were reports.
I want to get Derrick Henry. I'm going to deal with it.
The internet works in Tokyo. So
did you see the reports from The Athletic that said that they were used to the Ravens effing with teams?
Right.
People?
And yes. And so I think that in some corners of the NFL, the Ravens front office reputation took a hit. I
don't disagree.
Right.
With that.
So I'm saying I think that is at least somewhat damaging. Maybe it's not hugely damaging. I think it is somewhat damaging. I also think this offseason is almost impossible to grade until we see the Lamar deal and what that's going to be. So that is looming over, but you have to grade it in the meantime. Right. Also, 4 years, 118 for Trey Hendrickson reminds me a lot of 6 years, 120 for Von Miller that Buffalo did.
Von was like 33.
And Trey's
29.
Trey's 29? No, I think Trey's going to be 31 this year.
31.
Max Crosby was the guy you really wanted was 29. I think Trey's 31, going to be 32.
Trey's pass rush win rate last year was good.
It was great.
Even though he only had 7 sacks.
How many games did he play?
No, he's coming off injury.
And I don't love the fact that they lost their best offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And I don't love the fact that it's still just Zay Flowers at wide receiver.
Yeah. T.N. is turning 32 in December, just so we're clear. Seems like nobody knows his age. For me, I think it's an A because they did one of the hardest things. They got rid of Harbaugh. I'm not a Harbaugh truther. I'm not a hardball truther, and I really love the idea of Jesse Minter coming to Baltimore and reinstilling an absolute dominant defensive culture for this Baltimore Ravens team. And it's just very reminiscent of Mike McDonald in Seattle, who the Ravens are obviously quite familiar with. And so that alone to me is a huge victory, because it is hard to move on from a hardball. It was hard for the Patriots to move on from Bill Belichick. And Colin kept saying it was time. It was time. This is how good the Patriots are. not a lot of teams would have fired someone like, Bill Belichick, but and yet like teams struggle to fire the Pete Carrolls, the Harbaughs, right? Like they do. And I get it because running a team is fundamentally difficult. And for every Ben Johnson or Sean McVay, there is a Mike McDaniel or Cliff Kingsbury where you're like, yeah, like we trust your football abilities. We trust your football knowledge and we believe you're a great play caller, etc., etc., but like you seemingly just don't know how to run an NFL team as a whole. And it is why the Harbaughs should deserve some credit and the Mike McCarthys and whatnot, because you do know I always talk about this, like Mike McCarthy might not blow everyone away but like he knows how to run a team. He knows how to run an offense. He knows how to bring in a staff, like he knows what to do. He knows how to do it. Not everyone does and lots of people crash and burn. He knows how to do that and that does matter. It obviously absolutely positively does matter. And so by moving on from a hard ball, you're like, man, this guy does. But in terms of actually on the field, yeah, like as Brew brought up the penalties and stuff, I've been screaming that. I've been screaming that for years now. Like those moments have driven me absolutely insane. And I put that square on the shoulders of Harbaugh. In the biggest games, in the biggest moments, the Baltimore Ravens just fundamentally did not look prepared. They did not look prepared. And when you compare that to a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, they're always prepared. Always prepared. And it's why I gave the Eagles so much credit in the Super Bowl because they were prepared. And when Travis Kelce was trying to be up to his antics, everybody understood that's what Kelce's going to try to do. And they didn't care. They just watched them. You saw Kelce trying to cause problems, try to draw 15-yard penalties, and the Eagles were just like, sure, bud. Sure. And the Ravens did the opposite the year before. They got involved in it. They fed, snorts, into the nonsense and hurt them. It hurt them. And so it's just like that's coaching, man. That's coaching. And so bringing in a Jessim Terr, not only just getting Harbaugh out of the door, but now bringing in a Jessim Terr, to me, it's kind of a 2-for-1. And I don't hate Harbaugh. Like I want to be clear about that. Like I don't hate Harbaugh. I don't think he's awful. He's this or that. But I just do think there's certain coaches that I just don't see enough elevation. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready for something new. Especially when you have someone as special as Lamar Jackson where you're like, okay, I'm ready for something new. The whole Hendrickson and Max Crosby, we talked about this a little bit before, especially when the whole trade and all that stuff went down. I think at the end of the day, again, maybe I'm holding on to those draft picks more than I should. I think it's different. When the Rams traded up some of their picks and whatnot, there was a true sense of them going all in and a need for them to go all in, and the players that they were able to get for some of the draft capital that they're giving up and the money that they're spending, it makes sense. And how close they are to a Super Bowl, how close they were to a Super Bowl. Whereas, I don't see the Ravens of last season and the Rams of last season at the same level in terms of what they both did last season. I'm not talking about going into now. I just mean specifically in terms of, where they were going from. What they both needed to do in order to now win a Super Bowl in 2026. And so I understand the Rams' moves. And so then if you have now this Ravens team kind of mirror and make similar moves, you're like, well, that's not enough now. Like it's actually you're giving too much and you still have more that you need to do. And that's where then a Hendrickson trade or a free agency signing and keeping the draft capital to me makes more sense more. And I would be in favor of them if they really want to go all in, and it seemingly this won't happen, but if they then use those now 2 first-round picks and then made another trade, right, you get Hendrickson and you make some big trade for whoever, which again it seems like they're not going to do that. So then they are going to work in the draft and then the whole thing is like, well, how quickly can you bring these players up to speed? What timeline do you think you have with Lamar Jackson? If I'm the Ravens, I'm saying we're going all in to win a Super Bowl within the next 2-3 years. That's it. Like, that is my window. We're treating like Lamar Jackson is going to retire in the next couple of years. Not unlike Matthew Cyber. We're going all in because I'm just not banking on Lamar Jackson and this team looking great, in the 2030s. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for Mahomes. I'm not doing that for Josh Allen. Not doing that for Joe Burrow. I'm not doing it for Lamar Jackson. I'm not doing it to any of the bona fide superstar quarterbacks in this moment in time unless you're 24 years old right now. I'm just not banking on you being who you are when you're in your mid-30s. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And so I'm like this may be the best version of Lamar we will ever have again. And I want to make sure that we absolutely put him in a position to win his role. Now again, I'm not saying that he's not going to be able to be great. I can't emphasize that enough. And I keep trying to emphasize that because I know this is a take that I've said about Mahomes, Allen, and whatnot. And I just want to emphasize I'm not saying that they're not going to be great 3 years from now. I'm just not banking on it. I'm not building a team and trying to look at my Super Bowl window through that lens. I'm just not doing it. And if they're still great by then, hooray, victory. That is an amazing problem to have. And I'll be able to deal with that and reap the rewards of that when that time comes. But otherwise, I'm looking at it as like that's all we are doing everything we can. Not unlike what the Los Angeles Rams when they first got Matthew Stafford back when he was closer to his prime, So that's where I'm at. And so that's why I think AB makes sense. Nick wants to give him a C. AB makes sense. It's not an A because I do think there could be another move. And again, they're seemingly not going to do it. So, it's just going to be the draft. So, you kind of have to wait and see. And then maybe mid-season trade, mid-season acquisition, which again, not unlike what the Los Angeles Rams did as well for their Super Bowl run, getting Von Miller and getting, OBJ, which is something, moves that I always like to really highlight. So, but it is interesting. They got the second best odds to win the Super Bowl. At this point it's just like I don't know, Super Bowl odds in March mean very very little. To me. Especially because we just, we got to see what coaching looks like. We got to see what the coordinating looks like, like you just got to see how healthy is Lamar Jackson, all that fun stuff. But I in no way think that the Ravens took a step back or think like they haven't done things correctly right now. And yes, losing Linderbaum and whatnot is, don't want that obviously. And so you still have the question marks about the O-line, but all in all, I'm still pretty quite supportive. That's why I think AB actually makes perfect sense. I don't think it's, home cooking which is so Nick just had segment pretty much acting like ad and Justin Fields was about to redefine the NFL. Justin Fields the wild Andy Reid and the Wildcat offense is like okay sure now bringing Justin Fields is about to light the league on fire. Got it. But adding Trey Hendrickson is somehow like and yeah there is the risk with the injuries and all that. Absolutely. Absolutely. You always run that risk. No doubt about it. And that's just something that you kind of have to just wrestle with. But maybe the Jesse mentor is holding a lot of weight for me more than anything. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Baltimore Ravens? How do you feel about them so far? What would you grade them? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get to some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.